So we are live. So today we are going to be here in the studio, and we are going to be doing some multiple hoopings. I have had several clients who have asked me for this video. So in the home sewing world, there is a creator. Let me make sure I get her name right, and I'm going to find this link and we'll put it down. There's a creator who makes these amazing multiple hooping designs. She's Claudia Danell, and I got one of her designs. It's a pretty cute design too. But she makes these multiple hooping designs for quilts so that you have like a strip across the top of the quilt, and then there's a design in the middle and a strip across the bottom. But you have to hoop all these different times to create the design. So I did a test run of this, and I just grabbed some denim. So I have this panel that I made for a skirt a few years ago that I never made and finished. So I just grabbed this because it was nice and big so that I could see what it would be like sewing it on a nice big piece of fabric. But this is the design that we're going to do today for this tutorial, because basically what we're trying to figure out is how to take this and the instructions that she gives and do this design on a multi-needle machine, because her instructions are fabulous for the machine that she created them for. But we want to be able to do this and line all of these pieces up. So this is seven hoopings. 7 hoopings to get this design on here. Let's go to Design Shop. And we're going to open this in here. Desktop. Nature Calls. Where is our JF? First row. Oh, look, I finally got thumbnails. First center. Okay, center open. Make sure that this is centered. All right. Now, I don't need the little plus sign for the center of the design thing that she has in here. So I think I'm just going to delete that out of the design, because I just don't want to have to pluck the stitches later. So then we have tree, and our mountain outline. So what I want to make sure that I did was had this centered, because my machine goes off of this red center of my design, and so that's where I'm going to be working out from. Make sure to load it. In version 11, I can actually send the design with the little load design icon straight to the machine. So now I know that the one that I have loaded is the actual center. And you can see the colors kind of changed because now that first black color is gone. So I'm going to pick, it's going to look funny, but I'm going to pick 5. Because it's really just a visual. Okay. Okay, now if you're in Design Shop, from here, what you're going to do is we are going to print this. So you're going to go to Print. Let me make sure my printer is plugged in first before we do this. I guess it doesn't really need to be, oh, it is plugged in. There it is. That's the right cable. All right, so Print. And so depending on what level of software you have, I'm working in Design Shop 11, and in Design Shop 11 there's a sub-program that comes up so that I can have lots of options, but the basics are going to still be the same whether or not you have it, because in the other versions of Design Shop you can still print a design. It's just a little bit, a lot less options. Okay, so what I need is actual size with the origin and the grid, which is going to be this down here. So this is going to print it in 4 pages, but I don't actually need the first 2 pages. So you see how it shows the design, like half of it prints on one sheet and half prints on the other? So I'll hit print and print this out. That's what we need. All right, I'm going to switch to the overhead can to do with center it. So with our print now, we're going to line these up. We basically need to get rid of all this white space. So you can cut it, you can fold it, however, whatever works best for you. I like to leave one sheet whole and then cut the other one. And I'm just going to cut right along the edge. This way, I have a template of exactly what I'm going to stitch in actual size so that I can see exactly where it's going to go. Okay. Get it lined up here, and lined up down here along this spot. My tape dispenser. Lined up, tape it in. There we go. That's what we need. Now we have our first piece to go in the center of our design. Bring my fabric back out. And this is kind of the center mark. So from here I'm going to work out of my fabric. Just going to line it up, kind of, sort of. That's close enough. You can be as precise as you want, and that's the beauty of this technique, because with the template being printed, you can put it wherever. So then once we go to the next one, it'll be even easier to see. But we are going to have to stitch this first design out. And I'm just kind of pinning the paper to my fabric sort of straight. Because if I start this one crooked, the rest of the design is going to run crooked on the fabric as we build. I so love that design. Miss Shauna, do you have this design, Miss Shauna? Have you stitched this yet? I'll try to find a link to it and get it posted maybe later if I don't get it all found today. But we're just kind of playing and hanging out today. Okay, so this is pinned and ready to go, but I need some backing. And I'm going to get out my roll of cutaway. Working in the camper, everything's tight. So the backing, I'm going to actually make it the length of my fabric so that it's one continuous piece. Guess measuring the fabric would have been a good idea, huh? Oh well. No, you don't have the design. Okay. Yeah, see if I can find it. This is actually just one section. The whole, you know, there's a top row, a bottom row, and a middle section to this. Just kind of laying my fabric out. Make sure I cut the backing to the same size. Ish. All right, so I got got my fabric, and my piece of backing is the same size. Excellent. Now I'm ready to hoop. Almost. I really like my tabletop, so I'm going to put it on. I love this thing. If you like doing big stuff, quilting and so forth, and you have had your item pop out of the hoop, tabletop. Love this thing. I most of the time have it on the machine. We take it off for traveling because you'll see it sticks out so far, and we normally have bikes in here. So I'm going to put this on because I love it. Hi, Jerry. Hi. Okay. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so basically it has a bracket in here that I'm going to line up in that same dovetail that the hat driver locks into. Tighten those up really nice. There we go. Put the legs down. Hello, tabletop. Okay. Now then. Yeah, right? It's like hoop here, so here. It's all close. Okay, so now I'm going to get this on the machine. And my arms are set up correctly. That's good. I'll just kind of hang over. And locked in. Fairly good. Fairly straight. Let's see. Nope, got it all bunched up back here. Okay, so now I'm going to do laser alignment and get this first one sewing. So basically I'm going to go to the outside corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so it's there and there. I need to mark this so I don't get lost later. Because it's, it's all about even on each side, because we're going to be doing the center between the two. All right, so step 1, we're going to use the hoop and the arrow keys so that my laser light is shining on my first reference point. Like that, and I'm right at the crosshairs. Yeah, I can't quite see it. Yeah, you can see the laser light shine now. So I'm basically right at the intersection, So then I'm going to program this, which is a laser left arrow. So it programmed that point. So now I'm going to move. That was step 2. So step 3 is get to my next reference point. Right there. Step 4, program it, which is laser left arrow. Okay. And then center, laser bullseye. Center's the 2. Center, yep, reload, okay, good. My trees moved on my screen. All right, So now the trick is I gotta make sure that I trace. So I'm gonna do the hoop and the star, and I should be able to see that laser light run right around the edges of that design. Corner, bottom corner, side, side. Yep, point, point, point. It hit every single point perfectly. So I know this is gonna stitch right where I have this paper pinned. All right, let's do this. Move the grabber out of the way. Pull my pins. And let's stitch this so we can move to the second one. Let's see, I could use that when I was embroidering on horse blankets. Oh, yes, absolutely. Any kind of design, for sure. Let's go over to the screen for a minute while I pull up and do the next design. Okay, so we need two. So we'll go into Design Shop. We're going to open two. Right, that's the one that goes with it. Two there. Yes. I'm going to make sure, the first thing I'm going to do is center the design, and it is centered, which is what I want. And now I'm going to print it. Go to my print feature, make sure my printer is on. And I have paper. And origin, grid, yep, that's what we want. Actual size, that's what we want. Print. My printer, and make sure that the duplex, yeah, that's off. Print. Okay, so that's printing. We'll get the next piece ready. So I'm basically going to show you how I got to this point, because it looks kind of weird. We're going to talk about why. First page is on the floor. Perfect spot for it. First piece. Second piece. Hey, Drew, check it out. I need to do my printer. It's losing color. Next thing I'm going to need is ink for the printer. It's not printing in color. Another time, not now. Okay, so we don't need this page. We need these two. And we're going to do the same thing we did for our centerpiece, which is pick one. I always like to cut this one because I'm righty. If you're left-handed, you can cut this one if that's easier for you, whichever one is the easiest. My wonderful Drew is working on ink for the printer. The wonderful man in the background who makes everything work for me. What's your active speed set on the speed? Okay, we can look at that. Let me go back to the screen and I'll pull that up. So I have my active feed set right now at 9. At 7, I got a thread break from this multicolored thread. So I loosened the tension, even though it is a polyester thread. So I have it set for 9, and remember, that's because I'm using the EMT16X machine. I don't remember what machine you have, Anna. Do you have the XT or XTS, or do you have the new EMT16X? Because yours might be a little lower. If you're running 9 on an XT or an XTS, you'll probably have to turn off the bobbin detect. I just didn't want to have thread breaks, and I think thread's running fine now, so. Okay, and then I have my speed set at 1100 because it's just a nice speed for me. If I go any faster than that, it'll give me a headache. So yeah, if I go any faster than that, it gives me a headache. So because I'm in a box, I'm in an 8-foot box, and there's no carpeting or no acousticing in here. So yeah, it gets a little loud. Where I line these two up. And I'm going to get as perfect as I can. Shape it. Okay. Now, in the design, she uses a piece of the first design to line up the next design. And so when I pull up number 2, I'll go back to the screen and show you. On the screen, in Design Shop, number 2, the first color, I'm going to make this all kind of disappear and turn on the first color. This first color is this little kind of wiggly line. And that little wiggly line is what she uses to line up the second piece to the first so that it continues and goes down. Then we have a tree, and more mountains. So that's what I need to access is that line, this line here, which is good. At least she gives you something to line up to, which is right under here. It's snugged right there. So, switch the camera back. On the first design, I don't know if you can see it too well on my printout, but there's a nice dark outline on everything until you get to that spot. And then there's no outline there. So I can kind of see where it's supposed to line up. So on this piece that I just taped together, I want to expose that. So I'm going to cut it to look like this so that I can line that piece up to there so that it continues. And you kind of see how that works? Alright, so let's cut this. Because I'm going to come in and it goes from here to there. Okay. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to go right up to that line. And I'm just going to carve it out. Because this is what it lines up. To there. Also, what I'm trying to make sure when I'm doing this cutting is that I don't get rid of this line here, because remember we need this line for our laser alignment. So I'm kind of going in and carving out just what I need to get to that piece. So now, if I lay it on there, I can line it right up with the other design. Yeah, perfect. And that's how it lines up. So this is part of the key, is having this cut out. Because when we rehoop, this is what we're going to line up. We're going to line this up to our stitch out. I can throw this one away now. Okay, first design is done. Let's get it off here. Switch my camera. Okay, here we go. So this is what we have, and if you can see it, which I hope you can see it, there's a black outline around everything except for this one section. Thank you. This one section doesn't have any black outlining, and that's what we're going to line up. So we'll take our hoop off. Now then, we get our second piece. This is the piece we printed and cut with our little cutout here so that we can line it up to match up with this piece here. Just going to take my time, find the first corner, find the second corner, make sure my little piece is right where it needs to be, right there. So this is exactly where I need this to stow. Grab my straight pin, and I'm going to pin through, and I'm going to probably end up going all the way through the backing as well, which doesn't matter. There we go. Check my paper. Everything's still lined right up. Yep, yep. I'm out to this side and pin over here. Creep my hand under so I can get my pin to pop back out. Okay. Lay it flat. Now I'm going to double check my paper. Those two. Excellent, excellent. Okay. Now then, I'll grab my scissors wherever they were. I'm just going to kind of chop a little bit of this extra paper off the corners like I did before, so I don't have to worry about the hoop. Good. Okay, Miss Kelly. This is the key right here. All right, now then, we're just going to get our hoop in here. Since I already have that hoop set from the last hooping, it's just going to pop down in. Fabric is good, backing is good. I'm just going to just a touch. Fabric looks good. Fabric looks good. There's just a tiny bubble here. This t-shirt material, why didn't I pick something that didn't have any stretch to it? Dadnabbit. Okay, water. Okay, we are hooped. So, double check the back of my hoop is all nice and tight. You can see where the other design stitch is now way over on one side of the hoop, which is fine. Hoop looks good. Backing looks good. All right, let's get this thing on the machine. All right, just checking all my clearances. Looks good. Everything is in. Nothing is bunched up anywhere. So that's good. Okay. Now then, we're going to do, let me go back over to the screen for the computer. All right, so now we're going to take that design that we have in Design Shop that is centered, that we printed, and we're just going to load that to the design. So if you don't have version 11 of the operating system or Design Shop, this little load machine icon will not be there, which is fine. You'll just go File, Machine, Load Design. It works just the same. All right. Okay. Fine. I will save it. Save. We're going to go to the desktop and just click Save. I will win. Load, computer, desktop, 2 trees, load. 2 trees in a mountain. There we go. All right, now then I'm going to set the color. First, be that color that's going to match up with the other one. So we will do that in black. Then we'll have our multicolor and green and our black for our detailing. Pop. There we go. Everything else stays the same. Tension, speed. What?
Switch.
Yeah. Okay, tripod. All right, so we're on the tripod. So now we're going to do the laser alignment. So we have everything set and ready to go. So we're going to do the laser alignment now. So on my paper, just like before, I'm going to count out to make sure I'm equal space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just for my own visual, I'm going to circle that intersection. And then 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so it's this intersection here. So these are my 2 points, and you can kind of maybe see that it's not going straight. It's kind of angled here because it's going up, but that's fine. That's what the laser alignment does. Everything is still where it should be. Now we're going to go to our first point. So this is one of the reasons why I love this table, because I can press down on this paper as I go to step 1 to get to that first reference point. And centered. And then step 2 is program, which is laser left arrow. And I'm going to go to my second spot, which is over to the right. You can see it's not even, if you can see that. No, my hand's blocking it. That's fine. Haha. So, got my second reference point lit up with the laser light. It's right in the middle of that intersection, and I'm going to program that laser left arrow, and then laser bullseye to center and reload the design. Center reloaded. Now, the most critical point now is I need to do the trace. So I'm going to do my hoop and star and watch that laser light go right to exactly the edges of my paper. And if it didn't, I'm going to have to redo it. So let's do a trace and see how we did. Okay, corner, 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 went right to the point. Timber. Let's try that again. I got freaked out by the camera. And put it here. And trace. Point, 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 corner, corner, corner. Perfect. All right, so the trace went well. So now I'm going to pull my paper. Set that aside. Put my pens away. Now the first thing I'm going to stitch is that first line that comes right around the edge of this design. And I'm going to do it really slow. And to do it really slow, I'm going to tell the machine that I want it to stitch really slow. How I'm going to do that is when you press start and release the start button, and then you immediately press and hold the start button, it's going to slow the machine down to 80 stitches per minute. And that's going to let me follow that line right around. And I'll know immediately if it's lined up perfect or not. Good. Pull my tape off. Hit start again. Start. So that it goes super slow-mo. Oh my gosh, I'm so good with my paper. It literally stitched right over the exact same line that I just did. It'll be perfect. So while this is sewing, this is when you'll be getting your number 3 piece out. Pull it up in the software. Get it centered and ready to load. So let's go ahead and work on that. So number 3 in Design Shop is called top row 3 with the bears. Get that pulled up and centered, and it's already perfectly centered. Excellent. So he's ready to print. So you would go through and print. Tape your pieces together. Here's our piece. Here's where it lined up. It looks great. You can't even tell, like it came back over it so many times that you can't even tell. like where it was supposed to be. So that's perfect. Now we're ready to do the next one. Okay. Pull off my hoop. Move my water to a safe place. Just going to kind of slide my hoop over a little bit. Line up the sticks piece, which lines up right here. There's like a line from here to here. I'm going to go on top of it. Just got to make sure it's rotated correctly. That should be correct right there. Just going to use the same technique I did earlier and tape it. Okay, make sure my hoop is kind of sort of centered over my paper, or under my paper I should say. Under. There we go. Bring in my piece, top, and okay. Lined up. Okay. Looks good. Backing looks good. Now, before I go to the machine, I'm going to actually mark it first. So my center is here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Get this. Let's try this angle. All right. Get everything in. Get it stood here and here. Looks good. All right. Grease. Touch something. Okay. On the desktop. number 3. Load desktop number 3. This one's going to take a little bit longer to sew. This one says an hour. So we're just going to do the laser alignment and then just start sewing. Let's see. So my first line is black, and then we have a green and a darker green, which you know we're going to use that variegated thread because I like it. And then we have brown bears. My brown is actually on number 3. Wait, what is changing colors? I don't even see anything red on the screen. Oh, it is the tree that's changing. I'm looking at the bears. So the tree color. Green. We'll go back to green. Not really, that one's in the middle, so it should be the variegated, right? Yeah. We'll do a green tree. See, the bear turned green there. Okay, weird. That is a bear color, which should be number 3. Uh-huh. What is this color? Part of the bear, which would be the tan color. See what that is. Ah, there's the other tree. Okay. And then last is our black details. There he is. The only thing I could do better is actually change this to the brown. That's actually on the machine. Ooh. Which changed the wrong color. Ha ha ha. Black details. Alright, so we got a dark and light brown bear. We got the color set on the machine. That is good. Now, let me make sure the brown is threaded. Okay, then. Laser alignment, because we have it loaded, we're set with our colors. We're just going to do the laser alignment. So hopefully it's a better view of that. Maybe, we'll see. Okay, step 1, get to my first reference point. And I'm still blocking it. Alright, first reference point, program, laser left. Get to my second reference point, gotta go to over here. And program, step 4, and reload the design, step 5. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to do the trace and make sure it hits the outside edge of all my design. Make sure I did that correctly. Edge of the tree, bottom of the bear, bottom of the tree, side of the bear, side of the tree, across the top of the mountain. Perfect. All right. I'm going to pull this paper off. And start. I can go slow if I want, but I know it's going to go right along that piece. Finish. Stop. I want to go back to the big. Let's hit stop. And repeat. So we probably won't hang out the whole time because this thing has got a really weird calculation right now. But it's still trying to figure out like what to do. Software. It's saying 2 hours. It's not really going to be 2 hours because that number is going to drop pretty quickly. See how it's going down. It's calculating. Should only take about an hour. But we won't hang out and do the whole thing. I just for a few minutes. Because it's pretty much going to be the same process over and over. But I will finish sewing it out. It'll probably be tomorrow before I finish sewing all of it out, and then I will post a picture of the finish and the edited video throughout the week before next week. Just have to figure out what we're going to do next week. I'll go through my list. If you have any recommendations or anything you want to learn, please drop a comment and we'll figure out how to do it together. We'll advance everybody's skills. Yeah, we're just sewing. This would be where you would get your next piece, pull up your next design, get it centered, front it, get it cut and put together. Keep trying to walk that way to get in the camera view, but it's that way. Because the camera is mirrored. But it's going to be beautiful when we're all done. Don't forget to comment, give a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done that. Feel like a bobblehead, the camera is moving. I'm Juliet, and we're doing multiple hooping. Fun. Have a fantastic and fabulous week, and we'll see you next week, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.